What up, Panther Nation, Rockstar Gang? What up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Welcome. Welcome. Good morning. I have my coffee. I went to Starbucks this morning. I didn't go to the gym this morning. Normally I'm at the gym at like 7 or 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, done by like 9 o'clock every morning. But then this press conference was at 10, and I didn't feel like getting up any earlier to go to the gym. So good morning. Uh, you know, I think might have been one of the earliest live streams or podcasts or whatever you want to call whatever I do, YouTube, whatever. Earliest I've ever done. Panther Raider X. Watch your tone with me this morning. And fuck you. How about that? All right. I got my coffee. I'm all about some coffee. How can you hate coffee, man? It keeps you wide awake. You know what I'm saying? Keeps you wide awake. Keeps me wide awake. I know that. Looks like we got 3 people watching on Twitter, 4 people watching on YouTube. So it's a slow morning. It's all good. Normally we have like 30 people in here watching, but it is the morning time. Just waiting for this press conference to start. I wanted to get on here early. For you guys. So we could get that done and get it going. But good morning, everyone that's getting into the live stream. Hopefully everyone is well rested and ready for the day. We're going to talk about some other things. We're going to be breaking down Brant Tillis getting hired. We're going to break down his top to-do list. In my opinion, what he needs to do to maneuver some cap space. We're going to use Spot Tracker to go over that. We're also going to use Spot Tracker to go over Frankie Louvu's contract extension. We'll go over that after the press conference. And then there's an article out there that I got sent to me this morning. Thank you, Marcos Cash. He sent it to me in the Discord. That's why the Discord's there, guys. So make sure you go check out the Discord. Definitely go check that Discord out. That's where I also post up the live streams, but like articles or maybe some topic that may be like of interest to you guys. So I'm always posting stuff in there. And then I just fixed my draft board, guys. So check out the new draft board. It's still working progress, but so far this is what the new draft board looks like. Just so y'all know. I'm really working on this draft board right now. So I've been going in. I watched the Dan and Dave Canales interview. It gets me more hyped up this offseason. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I watched both of those two, Panther Raider X. Listen, my expectations are going to be low until proven otherwise. I'm not going to buy into all this hype just yet. I'm happy with the hire. I think it's a good hire for Dave Canales. I think it's a good hire for Dan Morgan. Don't get me wrong. I can say that it's a good hire, but is it going to turn into a good hire? That is the uncertainty that follows with hiring both of those guys. We don't know what we're going to get out of it. But this is the draft board I've been editing and working on. I'm trying to add more to the summary over here. I know you can barely see it, so I'm trying to add more to the summaries over here. I've been working on it this morning. I've got it all set up. These are literally all the players. Listen, there's over 450 players coming into this draft, right? So I've got this down to the guys that I know. I've got it down to the guys that I have scouted. I've watched game film on. I've seen play, whatever the case may be. So this is what my draft board looks like right now. I got over 180 players. I'm probably not going to do any more, and I'm probably not going to separate them. I'm literally just going to do it based off of the ranking system here. I might separate them, but I'm going to need help. Doing these draft boards aren't easy. So I just wanted to show you all that real quick. It's pretty cool, though. Been working on that. So this I just like what they had to say in those interviews. I mean, I like it too. Pith Raider X, I really do. I like what they had to say. He had to say too. Um, I think that this is a good matchup, though. I think the vision between Dave Canales, all right, between Dave Canales and Dan Morgan is obviously the chemistry's there. They also seem to think alike, so the vision's going to be the same, which is good for us because we haven't had. I don't think between the coaching staff between Frank Wright and Scott Fitter and the coaching staff with Matt Rule and Scott Fitter actually aligned. I don't think that ever meshed well. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that their visions were the same. I think another thing is that Scott Fitter was just a bad talent evaluator, right? I think Scott Fitter was a bad talent evaluator. We've seen that. Look at the draft classes, right? We know that he's a bad talent evaluator. Another thing is that we now have this sportsology firm who's consulting our meddling owner. So the biggest key here overall, though, is David Tepper going to take a step back and not meddle as much? Is he still going to be hands-on? Sure. But is he going to be meddling with the play calling, meddling with the scheme, meddling with what players should be on the field and all that stuff? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Right? That's the biggest thing for Carolina. The biggest thing for Carolina is for them, for us to hope that that David Tepper doesn't meddle with the football operations. Like, that's the number one thing it comes down to. I think if you just let Dan Morgan and Dave Canales do their thing, you have a better chance of winning football games and being successful as an owner in the league than you do with you putting your hands into it, trying to get that Midas touch, and you don't got it. So you don't know anything about ball either, David Tepper. I could be, I know more ball than David Tepper does. I might know more ball than he does hedge funds. Who knows? Maybe not. Probably not, because he's a billionaire. So probably not. That was probably a bit too big of a statement. But I know more ball than him, but still at the same time, the biggest key is that David Tepper just cannot meddle with football operations. And hopefully this sportsology consulting firm is leading him down that right path. And that's all we can hope for. I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah, I did like that quote. Go defense, go take the ball. The offense take care of it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that what the biggest thing here is I think that the offense needs to be a run first offense. Run to get yards, throw to get first downs. Like, that's my mindset. Like, pound the rock, throw to get first downs. Like, but I've also heard sayings, run the ball for first downs, throw for touchdowns. Like, I mean, I think for this team, it needs to be run the ball, like take care of the ball, throw the ball for first downs. Like, that way, run the ball first, second down, throw the ball on third down, get the first down. Like, and just move the ball down the field. Like, it's going to be interesting what we see, though. I think Canales is going to bring his style of, between Seattle and Tampa Bay, I think it's going to be a West Coast style. I don't think it's going to be as much as a spread, like Frank Wright was trying to run. We shall see, though. We shall see. We got 20 minutes until this press conference is live. Make sure you pound the like button. I will definitely be sharing it with you guys here shortly. And guys, let's put up a fun poll question just to start it off. Starbucks or Dunkin'? Which coffee is better? Or do you have another one in mind? You can comment it in the comment section. Let's see here. It's early in the morning. I know that. Maybe for those. 9:41 is early for that for some of you guys. For some of you guys. Let's see here. Are they getting it going yet? Monday live press conference. It doesn't look like they're going yet. Let's see. I just want to see if they've got the thing pulled up yet. Doesn't look like it. Good morning, Jen. Waiting for this press conference to start, guys. I was listening to. I'm just watching this interview, guys. Waiting for the dang press conference to start. How do y'all like y'all's eggs? I like mine over.
There's a lot of things that went into it. I think as I met Mr. and Mrs. Tepper, and I could feel the passion and energy and the competitive nature that they have. Kindred there in the interview, and I was hoping at the time, which I didn't know, I was hoping like, I hope they could feel that like I'm on board with this. Like this is familiar to me, and I feel like I can really bring this to this place. Bryce is a huge piece of it. My respect for him, really we're just a year removed from doing the evaluation process coming out of Alabama. Now he's got a full season, 16 out of 17 games under his belt of NFL experience. That's irreplaceable. The coverages he had to see, decisions he had to make, the speed of play. You know, it's like I got this bonus year to come in here and kind of build off of that, you know, and then of course just crazy good defense that I had to see twice last year, and they made it really hard on us. So a lot of exciting things. I can't talk about this job without talking about Dan Morgan. 7 years together in Seattle. We actually were a door away from each other for I think about 2 or 3 of those years before I got moved to wide receivers coach. But to just watch a guy who is so steadfast in his core beliefs, his evaluation, you know, you see remnants of who he was as a player, you know, just this like really intelligent, really fierce competitor. And so for me, it's a real, like just an honor and a pleasure to be thinking about. I get to do it with Dan, you know, and the 1-2 punch we can be to put a great team on the field and to build a championship environment.
You mentioned Bryce. Of course, I was going to ask you about him. So it sounds like that was a big reason that you took this job here. You watched his film, clearly impressed. What do you think he can become for this team?
Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit for him. I think the important part to understand is for Bryce to just see, just do your 111 on the offensive side. That's it. He's been a winner in high school. He won at Alabama. And when we build the team the right way, he'll be a winner here because he knows how to do that. And he's got the right makeup to handle those high pressure situations. We watched him for years, you know, do it. So I'm really excited about the next step for him.
Speaking of quarterbacks, you are famous for getting the best out of quarterbacks. What's the secret aside from what you just told us? How do you do it?
Starts with relationship and trust. Starts with hearing their story and them hearing mine. I think when we can level there and they understand that I'm there for them. I was able to do that as a position coach. And then last year, first time as a coordinator, to become whatever pass game fit Baker Mayfield, to become what fit Geno Smith. It really started with Russell, becoming what fits Russell Wilson and then representing that for the staff. We had a couple of coordinators come in there and I would step in and say, okay, these are the things that Russell's great at. And then kind of build it around those things. So I'm excited to do that with Bryce.
It's something else you also really succeeded at in Tampa was calling plays, and the understanding is that's something that you'll be taking on here as well. Okay, I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong there. Who are you as a play
Never
caller?
heard of that, Marcos, but I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, there's a
Marcos, you're in
contrast.
Texas,
There's a
though,
big difference between the guy you're going to see at practice. I'm going to be sprinting around. I'm on the verge of a hamstring pull at all times, and trying to bring that to every group, trying to bring that in a competitive way against the guys we're going against. But then as a play caller, what I discovered is kind of very even keeled, very monotone on the speakers, and let's get some jazz music going, and just kind of like, regardless of the situation, it's like, what's the next call? And so I have to flip my brain a little bit there. And of course, the ultimate, like when we have those big plays or touchdowns, that's when the celebration happens, but not until then. So a little bit of a contrast there, and again, I'm still scratching the surface on what I can do as a play caller, and I'm excited to see where my abilities grow as I've watched these other coordinators and head coaches grow and follow them through their careers, and especially the coaches like Andy Reid and people who've been doing it for a long time, who I admire, to see what they become and the versatility, the way they get to calls quickly. I'm excited for that.
You are currently, now there are still some vacancies in the league left, but as it stands right now, you are the only Hispanic.
Marcos, you're in Texas though, right? Gloria Jean's Coffee. That's in Texas. Pretty sure. I think I seen one in San Antonio when I went there. Or maybe it was Austin when I went, or Dallas. Or was it Houston? I've been all over Texas, but Gloria Jean sounds familiar. I feel like that's a Texas thing.
Coach in the NFL. What's the significance of that to you?
It means a lot to me, because of where I'm from, because of my, I come from just a couple generations of dreamers who thought bigger than the situation that they were in. My grandfather came from Mexico, made a life for himself in Central Valley in California, joined the military to get citizenship. And he and my grandma just breathed life into their children.
Okay.
That anything is possible. And so for me, I found football early on, and I was able to just kind of chase that dream, So it's that Mexican American in me, just the willingness to take a job and just apply yourself to it, and take real pride in your work, and show up every day and take advantage of opportunities that come along my way.
Lastly, of course, this interview has been all about you, and rightfully so, but football is a family endeavor. You and your wife, Lizzie, have 4 kids. What was it like telling them, hey guys, dad is now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers and we're all moving to Charlotte?
For me, it was really exciting first to share that with my wife. She breathed life into this dream 20 years ago when I was a JV head coach. And after 2 years of doing it, she just knew how much it meant to me. And she said, I know you have dreams of just taking over the program here at Carson High School, but I just want to tell you, you're really good at this and you can take this as far as you want. And I got your back. And she did. She worked 3 jobs at times, and she made all the sacrifices and stayed home with the kids. And she's kind of like the wind in my sails. And so it really does start there. And I couldn't wait to share that moment with her. And just a lot of confidence for my kids. I think they understand that it's a part of this profession, and they're excited to come here to a new city. And collectively, they showed up today in the facility, and I could see the genuine excitement and kind of shock and like, oh, this is different. So it was pretty cool to see that.
Well, Dave, congratulations to you, Lizzie, your whole.
Nice. Yeah, today's the start of Black History Month. I forgot about that. Because today is February 1st. Holy crap. I can't believe it's already February. Let's see. Is there anything else? Brant Tillis looks like he's stressed out. In those pictures, man. Every time I look at him, he looks stressed out. Trying to find if I just want to see if they had the Dan Morgan one on Facebook. I was trying to see. They got to be getting ready to pop on here, though. Let's see. Excuse me. It might be better to get it off Twitter. For the house, I get this blend of Nescafe, and I can only find in Mexico. Oh. Ew. What? Okay. Oh, there's the Dan Morgan interview. I didn't even see that. I mean, I seen it, but I didn't see it. I didn't see it on. I didn't know it's already in Twitter. All right, are they gonna pop this live up or what? My God, it's taking way too damn long. Is it? Do they even have like a live setup yet for the YouTube channel? Lit. I actually changed the name of the live too. Lit. I decided to change it. I decided to change it. All right, come on, press conference. Let's go. Making me wait too long. Making me wait. Making my way downtown. Walking fast. Do-do-do-do-do-do. I need you. Do-do-do-do-do-do. And I miss you. Do-do-do-do-do-do. And now I wonder. All right, let's see here if they are like, have they? All right, let me check on the YouTube channel for the Panthers real quick. Let's see. Let's hit a refresh here. Trying to get this pulled up. Now we'll pull up at the after party. You and all your friends, and they love to get naughty. All right. Trying to post this stuff on the Discord. All right, folks. Come on. Let's get this press conference going, bro. Actually, also, guys, go check out the Facebook page. I just made a new Facebook page. So now we're going to be able to go live on there as well. Go check out the Facebook page. It's it's the same thing as the Ropp Star Report. So I created it for the YouTube channel. So just want to give you all a heads up. So definitely go check it out. Because I'm going to be going live on multiple platforms now. So it definitely helps. It helps with the algorithm. Oh, damn it. I lost that freaking. Where is it? Brian Burns, Ravens. I just had that damn thing pulled up. There it is. I wanted to bring this article up. All right. Terry Clay over Terry Crews. There you go. White chicks. Love that. Ah, yes. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see if it's on Twitter too. Because if it's on Twitter, we'll stream it from Twitter. Oh, are y'all not gonna do it? Media. They gotta be getting it ready over there on Twitter. I mean, I'll share it from fuck it. If YouTube bashes me for it, then kiss my ass. They can kiss my ass. Man, I pull up at the after party. Cyber, what's up? Good morning. I'll be back after my next meeting. Sounds good. They changed the press conference loading screen, eh? Yeah, they did. I want to see if they got it on Twitter, though. Let's see if they got it on here. I just want to see if they got it. That's on their website. Yeah. Yo, whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, now you're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play. Y'all didn't know I had those vocals. Let me get back to this. Yeah, it looks a little cheaply made. I can't say much, though. Let's see if they got it on Facebook. Mm-hmm. They sure do. Oh. Keep that shit off. I'm just trying to see which one would be better if I do it from Facebook or Instagram, Twitter. I'm just trying to see which one's better. So give me a second here. Like, I'm going to share it either way. I just don't know if I want to share the one from YouTube. I might say I'm going to say screw it and just leave it on the one I got. Screw it. Screw it. After today's press conference, we'll talk about it. We'll definitely talk about this press conference. And then we'll go over a couple things. Where's my phone? Thank God I get some new monitors. What do all of y'all want to hear in this press conference? That's a good question, Marcos. For me, I just want to hear, honestly, like I said, my expectations aren't high, right? Marcos, like, I'm tired. It's live on Twitter. It's fine. I'm just going to leave it on the YouTube one. If I get bashed for it, I get bashed for it. I won't delete. I won't cut it. I can tell you that. All right, here we go. I think. Are we on? Is this thing on? Okay.
For sports and entertainment, and David and Nicole Tepper. Welcome to Bank of America Stadium.
Dude,
Thank you
sounds
all
like
for
shit.
being here. I'm Anish Ropp, the play-by-play announcer for the Carolina Panthers. And before we get started, there are a few people I'd like to recognize. We'd like to extend a special welcome to our current players, to our Panther legends who are here.
Their audio is terrible. This is not me. I can tell you that.
All of our honored guests, members of the media, and those of you who are tuning in.
I want to hear Tepper's going to keep his. I mean, that's what I would want to hear.
We are here today to share how the Carolina Panthers are moving forward.
I don't know who set up this audio.
And with that,
not me.
I'd like to welcome the owner of the Carolina Panthers, Mr. David Tepper.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Exciting day today. I'm excited to introduce to you our new head coach, Dave Canales. You can stand up. And our new president of football operations, general manager Dan Morgan. I'm also thrilled to welcome Brant Tillis, who will serve as our Executive Vice President of Football Operations. Brant is with us today. Stand up, Brant. His wife, Elizabeth, is with him. Let me tell you a little bit about Dan and Dave. They're tremendous people. well-respected, and they are both connectors. Dan has 14 years of front office experience throughout the league. When Dan was a player, he kept the defense connected and on the same page. And I've seen those traits with him translate throughout this building with everyone, including scouts, players, and coaches. He keeps everybody moving in the right direction. Their trust and maximize their ability. Each of them brings experience from winning programs. They share the same vision for our organization and are aligned on how they would get there.
I don't know.
I'd like to ask Dan and Dave to join me on stage, but I also like to recognize Dan's wife, Ashley, and his family, and Dave's wife, Lizzie, and his family. So guys, come on upstairs.
I can't hear it. It's better on YouTube. The sound's better on YouTube than it is on Twitter.
Evening, Dan, would you like to kick us off? Yeah, sure. First, I want to thank everybody for being here today. It's a great honor to be named.
This is terrible.
The Carolina Panthers.
You gotta be shitting me.
Head coach. Super excited to work with Dave. Me and Dave have known each other.
I can't even hear it. All right, we're going back to YouTube.
Yeah, and this is a dream come true for both of us.
We're going back to YouTube. I gotta share this instead. Come on, Kayak. Oh my fucking God, dude, these fucking commercials. I'm about to start yelling, Panther Raider X.
You guys, it's gonna get better and better.
Dude, this audio is so bad.
It's gonna be alignment in our building, and we're gonna do things the right way to build a championship team here. And obviously, it's a great honor to be named the GM of the Carolina Panthers after playing here 7 years with greats like Mike Brucker. One of my best friends is here. Vinny Churchill, he's here. Mike Tolbert's here. Thomas Davis, Jonathan Stewart, all these guys here. Musim Muhammad, like, you guys are the best, man. Like, and doors are always open. You guys are family, and we're gonna make it a family environment, and that's the kind of environment that me and Dave want to create around here. So, you guys are family. We're going to do every team the right way, on the field, but off the field. The type of character guys that we bring in are going to be guys that love football, play with passion, play with the relentless pursuit of greatness. There's several people that I'd like to say thank you to. Trent Kirshner, who's out in Seattle right now, he called me 14 years ago. He called me and he said, "I think you'd be a really good scout, Dan." And I didn't know if I wanted to do this or not, but 14 years later, here I am as the GM. So I guess he has a pretty good eye for who's good talent evaluator. So I thank him. John Schneider and Pete Carroll, they were so much fun to work with. I learned so much as a young scout out there. I was just a pro scout, driving guys to the airport, putting the work in. And John and Pete were just so great to work under. And, to be able to, for me and Dave, to be able to learn under them is just, you can't get that experience anywhere. So I want to thank them. Brandon Bean, Joe Shane, and Sean McDermott, who I worked with in Buffalo. Again, learning from great mentors, people that know football, people that know how to put an organization together. Again, I can't thank them enough for everything they've done, and they've continued to help me to this day. Terry and Kim Pagula with the Buffalo Bills. can't thank them enough for welcoming me in and my family in. They're the best. Just great people, just like Mr. and Mrs. Tepper. There's some great ownership in this league. Scott Fitter, I want to thank him for bringing me back to Carolina and giving me this opportunity. Scott's one of my great friends, and I thank him for everything that he's done for me. All of the Seahawks and Bills players, I want to thank them, because let's tell it how it is. You know, all the sacrifices those players have had and the hard work and the dedication.
He did.
We wouldn't be where we were if it wasn't for the players. I mean, the players are what make this game. And I just want to thank everyone involved, player-wise, for being great and, you know, just kind of developing the relationships with them. I'd obviously like to thank my family, my wife, Ashley, my daughter, Lexi, my son, Brady, and my youngest, Callie. I love you guys so much, and I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. All the hard work, all the dedication, all the sacrifice, you know, Dad being at work and maybe missing some games. But I thank you guys, and I love you guys so much. To my parents, I want to thank them for instilling the values in me, honor, integrity, hard work, dedication, all those things that I carry with me to this day.
Good job, Dan. Tell that to his face. You know what?
Thanks, Dan. Morning. Just what a moment of gratitude. What a moment of just thankfulness. You know, I can, you know, in the room this big, and of course for everyone who's watching, you know, I think we can all kind of think about the people who believed in us first, who gave us our first opportunity to show who we are, to express ourselves. And so first I want to thank David and Nicole for giving me this opportunity. This is a dream of a lifetime that Lizzie and I have had. That goes back 20 years, and really, you know, the last 10 years really honing this opportunity to get in front of an ownership.
God dang, the volume is low.
It's in my DNA. It's a part of who I am, and for allowing me to be me and recognizing that. So I want to thank you, Christy, as well. Just throughout the process, you know, it was I learned so much just in those couple of days, just how to interact and how to try to just keep the focus on the things that are important, and feeling what your vision is for this team, and feeling that alignment that's happening with Dan and I.
It's ridiculous.
Right into that, I'm just really appreciative there. I got to thank the Bucs organization for believing in me, giving me a shot. I was in Seattle for 13 years, but I get my first offensive coordinator opportunity way on the other side of the country. And so my family, you know, Lizzie and the kids moved out last April. I didn't quite make it to my 1-year anniversary there, which would have been February 18th. So this part has happened really fast, but this is something that I've been working on. I really want to thank the Glazer family, and Joel and Darcy, Jason Light, Todd Bowles, for giving me that chance, for just letting me let it rip, giving me the confidence to be able to do that. I'm really appreciative there, which takes me back to my time in Seattle. And to formulate an identity, to formulate a football DNA that wins 10 out of 13 years to the playoffs. I just coached in my 20th and 21st playoff games these past couple of weeks. And so I'm just really appreciative of Pete Carroll, who pushed me to think about the next thing. Quit looking just at the quarterback. Quit just staring at the wide receiver's route. Open your eyes. What's happening with these combos? You see what the defense is doing? Did you notice we're playing a lot more of this coverage this camp? Open your eyes. Think bigger. Be prepared. I can't thank Pete enough. And I'm going to miss a bunch of other names, but at that point right there, I just want to also just thank the players, the guys who really just did a fantastic job in it. And most recently, you know, Russell Wilson, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, these guys that I got to just spend so much life with, to learn, to watch them grow as men, to watch them grow as football players. It's their fault that I'm here.
Trade burns.
And that's the bottom line, is it's about the players.
Now they turn
my family,
Just growing up in a family who's just a family of dreamers and self-starters in Carson, California, the Canales family, and then my extended family, the Hendersons, my wife's family, who we moved to in Seattle. We're with them for 13 years. How they walked the hard days, the frustrating days in the profession, the frustrating and hard days in our marriage and our family, walking alongside of us, and just their undying support, prayers, all of my family members and friends that have been supportive over the years. My kids, Ashby, Ben, B, Amaya, who lend their dad to this profession for 6 months at a time. But we fight for each other. We fight for windows. We fight to connect, to listen to each other and to grow together. And finally, my wife, Lizzie. It's really her fault. 20 years ago, I'm the head JV coach at Carson High School. Fired up. I'm so excited. We go to play Venice High School. It's my first game coaching. She's sitting up in the stands with about 35 crazy parents. And we got smoked 34-13 that day. It was the greatest day of my life because I had found it. I found my passion. And after 2 years of doing that, she comes to me and she knew all I wanted to do was be the head coach at Carson High School. That's what I wanted to do, take it, get us back on top, try to win championships and do all that. And she said, hey, don't get me wrong. I love your dream. You're really good at this. I think you can go as far as you want, and I got your back. And I'll make it happen, whatever we need to do. And she did. And she worked 3 jobs at times. And she told me the hard truths. And when I had problems with players or coaches, said, you know what you need to do? You need to sit down and have those conversations. And she's just been everything to me. This is our journey. This is our dream. And we've been so excited and prepared for this opportunity. So thank you, and I love you, babe. So that's just kind of the journey. How I got here, started off with the dream in high school, and that turned into junior college. And at El Camino College, I learned the spread pass game from a man named John Featherstone, rest in peace. And that's where I met Pete Carroll. And Pete gave me an opportunity to come along with him. I spent 14 formative, amazing years. I don't know if you've heard the saying, see a little, see a lot. Well, if you can sit at that same porch, you'll watch the world go by. Watch the NFL world come through, the trends, the changes, the players, the generations of players, how to communicate, all happen in one place, in one city. For me, just was a recipe for forming a really solid identity and a belief in a way to win. And I was able to fortunately take that to Tampa last year and to show what
I guess I could have done that. I didn't know it was going to be on there, Panther Raider X.
Who are our guys, and how do we build an offense around these people? And I'm excited to be able to do that here with the whole team, to find our strengths, make them second nature, to find our weaknesses and work them into strengths. And I'm so excited to do it with Dan, with Brant, with Mr. and Mrs. Tepper, and all of us in the building, really, that every time those players walk into this building, they're going to feel that intentionality. They're going to feel that this is about them. This is about building a place for them to thrive. And so I'm excited to be here and to do this with you, Dan.
Likewise. Just kind of wanted to talk about like the type of players that we want to bring in here and just DNA wise. First of all, we need to find those leaders, those competitors, as Jay Stu would say, those dogs. Like we need some dogs. Like we got to get some guys that are passionate about football.
He's talking about bringing in dogs.
They want to come out every day and compete on the practice field, in the weight room.
I mean, we do need some dogs. I mean, I'm not going to lie.
We got to bring that back here to Bank of America Stadium to where people get excited about coming to see our team. We're super passionate about bringing a team that the fans can be proud of, that our, players can be proud of. Like when teams drive up to this stadium, we want them to fear that logo. The logo has to be feared again, because right now it's not feared. So we got to get that back. But I think it starts with getting the right type of players. And it's guys like you, like Thomas Davis, Jonathan Stewart, Musim Muhammad. We got to get those type of guys. We want players with grit. We want players like Steve.
You got that dog in him.
Play with a chip on your shoulder. No holds bar. He's not taking any prisoners. We need those type of guys. Instincts and tenacity of Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly. Guys like that can make plays. We need playmakers out there. We need competitors like Jake Delhomme. Guys that they're going to compete in everything they do, and they're going to be pissed off, and they're not going to stop until they win. Those are the type of guys we need. I remember in 2003 we had our playoff game here, and I remember those towels out there, the white towels
Could be
waving around. That's my dream.
Olsen could also be the tight ends coach.
I was talking to David about that today.
I think the Ross on both sides is going to have a massive turnover. I do too.
I
mean, we're doing it. This is a complete rebuild.
Sleeves, work hard, and find those type of players that are going to help us get back to home playoff games and winning. That's what we.
The audio's gotten a little bit better, but not much.
And for me, like just the marriage and the connection of it with Dan and I is just create an environment that's set up that our players have every resource at their disposal. That they come in here and they got a plan for their body, they got a plan for their mind, they got a plan for their whole person as they walk in, and that this building stops everything when our players come in and say, "How can I help you? How can I serve you?" That's the type of place that we have to be. It definitely speaks to the coaching staff being developmentally minded. I don't care about what we can't do. What can we do? Who are these players that we have, and how are we going to maximize those strengths on a daily basis? We're looking for championship moments, championship days, and that's got to be a full-on commitment every single time we walk in here. So for me, it's about building that culture, building our language, making
Dave,
sure that we're using
2-5.
specific language. There's going to be a bunch of buzzwords being
And we're
thrown
going to shoot
around.
the actual.
I don't like synonyms. We all speak the same language, and we're heading in the same direction with that alignment that we talk about. And I'm so excited to create that culture. Culture is what you celebrate. Culture is also what you condemn, and you say, "This is a horrible looking play. Look what happened right here, guys. Boo this man, please, somebody." And then, like, at the same time, finding great opportunities from practice, from games, to celebrate it. That's how you create culture, and I'm really excited to be able to do that. The next piece of it is we got to get our football right. Let's just make it about the football. There's no storylines. There's no agendas. It's about good football. We got to play good football on both sides of the ball, be willing to look at it truthfully and
holding players accountable, like I said.
Take the next step and improve and capitalize on these moments to just see that growth and watch what it takes us. If we go after it every single day for a really long time, and for my players, I always say, guys, just get better the next day. Do that for about 10 years and look back and see where you went, see where you got. And for me, if it was this simple, how do we do that? It's our football philosophy here. It's all about the ball. We got to be crazy about getting the ball on defense. We got to be raking at the quarterback's elbow when we're sacking the quarterback. Every tackle has got to be an opportunity to get this ball back. Offensively, everything we do, from the protection calls all the way to how we carry it, to our receivers transitioning and the quarterback, the decisions, all is about taking care of the ball. +1 equals 82% win. That's a historical number. If we can just be one turnover better than our opponent, look what we can do. We'll set ourselves up for success. And that's, if I can make it that simple, what if I told you in the wild card round that the quarterbacks and teams that didn't turn it over won the game? It was as simple as that. We ain't even talking X's and O's and what the style and philosophy of our offense or defense is. If we make it about the ball, we can go as far as we want to and put ourselves in a position to be a championship team.
With that, I think we're going to open it up to questions for the media.
Yeah, we'll open it for questions. So if you would, please raise your hand, and we have microphones that we'll pass around. And as we call on you, or we'll pass to you, so please raise your hand. We'll get you the mics. Introduce yourself with your name, your affiliation, and we'll go from there. So our first question will come from Steve Reed, followed by Carla Gephardt.
Hey guys, Steve Reed from the Associated Press. Dave, certainly welcome to Charlotte, and Dan, congratulations on your promotion. I think you guys answered all our questions in your preamble there. But listen, I think fans want to know, It's been 6 years since this team, been to the playoffs. It's been 8 since they've won a playoff game. What do you feel like is the blueprint to get there? And secondly, most importantly, how long do you think it'll take?
I think it's about alignment and process. We got to have processes in place, and we got to be aligned in our building, and we're all moving towards the same direction, and that's towards a championship. So, to put it simply, I think that we got to roll our sleeves up, and we got to get to work, and we got to find the type of players that we want to infuse into our locker room, into our building, get winners in this building.
Yeah.
My timeline's today. How can we win today? Let's have a great interaction here. Let's start talking about what football you can expect out of us. And so today, this looks like a win for me, and that's just the way I think, just approaching every single day. It's 1st and 10. I got a new set of downs. My whole call sheet's at my disposal, and got a bunch of fantastic people to go to work with today. It looks like putting a great staff together for me right now. It looks like getting with Dan, looking at this roster, and really coming up with an airtight plan for who we want to become.
Carla Gebhardt of Fox Charlotte. My question's for Dave. You mentioned your experience with quarterbacks.
Oh, man, she's hot.
That experience might help continue to develop Bryce Young in his second year.
Attention to the details, first and foremost. It all starts off with relationship. Bryce and I just getting to know each other. I want him to know that I have his best interest at heart. I want him to be the best possible version of himself. That's the same approach that I've taken since I've been coaching position in the NFL, and that's really the approach I want to take with him. Some of the other things that kind of come to mind thinking about the quarterbacks that I've worked with over the last couple of years is we are going to become what Bryce is great at in the pass game. We're going to grow to the capacity that he can handle.
For sure.
There's got to be a commitment and a discipline about that. There was a growth curve there with Baker. Here's where we're at today.
We're in the same industry, sweetheart.
We have.
Yeah.
Let's get into these situations to see where he looks most
I do
confident
YouTube,
when I
you do
see that
media.
back foot planted in the ground and that ball rips out of there without any hesitation. I know we've got something. Let's find more of those. Let's put it in 3
Listen, I would.
and
I was.
formations and motions.
I'm a douche, though.
Yeah, David Newton, ESPN.com. I wanted to ask you, welcome first. I wanted to ask you what made this job attractive? And secondly, what were your thoughts coming to an organization that had fired 3 head coaches in 5 years?
Yeah, so first and foremost, in Seattle,
that is a tough question.
We're anywhere close to touching the first overall pick. And the more that I got ready for this interview and started watching Bryce, looking at my notes from his eval, I mean, that's just a year ago. We're evaluating him.
Thanks for holding me accountable there, Panther Raider.
All the information that we could. I just got more and more fired up about the opportunity to have this amazing talent. And he's the guy. He's the right guy that we all talk about when we have that quarterback, that franchise, face of the franchise type of player. And that got me really excited. And then just on top of that, I played against the Panthers twice, and the job that E.J. Evero did with the defense was really hard to deal with. Great sound football, playing hard, some great players in some spots, and just the whole thing coming together. And then as I got to,
I'm sure you would.
I have some history. So then I thought, shoot, if you look at some of the success,
I could win more games than Frank Wright did with a Madden playbook.
And then, of course, as I've gotten to meet the Teppers too, to feel their competitive nature,
Timmy
Hose
for
what
coffee.
they want here, what they want to see when they come out to the practice field, and just kind of knowing I can be that without taking anything, without having to make something up. I just felt more and more like this was going to be a great home, and I was really hoping, as they were sorting through the names, that I would come out as one of the top candidates.
About coming to an organization that has fired 3 coaches in 5 years?
Oh, I don't think that way. I'm talking about today. I want to win today. And so for me, coming into the situation, same like Tampa, it's like
this guy's asking some tough questions.
What can we do, not what can't we do, and that's just my mentality.
What do you think about firing 3 coaches in 3 years, 5 years, or whatever he said?
I've got one for Dan and one for Dave. Dan, for yourself, I just wondered if you
I know Tim Hortons.
You said you need more dogs, more good players. What that looks like specifically, like where you think this team is lacking and where you want to build it.
And then Dave, I just wonder if you could talk specifically about, as a play
Not in
caller,
South Carolina.
what
I've
you
been
try to
to
do, 'cause you sound
Tim
very
Hortons and other
passionate
places, though.
about that, and you know, deep balls, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think when you talk about building the roster, Scott, you know, I think it starts with competitors, guys that are passionate about football. We want to draft guys and sign guys in free agency that are passionate about football, that love football. We have a lot of guys in the
This
locker room
audio
right
still
now
bad.
that love football and are passionate, but we need to get more. And you know, the dog part of it, we need guys that are hungry
Beef
to
jerky
go out
experience.
there
No, I haven't.
and inflict pain on their opponents. We need guys toughness. We need physicality. We need those type of things. I mean, just to put it plainly, we haven't had enough of that, and that's going to be our DNA. To where when people drive up to Bank of America Stadium, they know they're in for a dogfight. So that's what we want to create.
The producer mid
Play calling, just thought process there. Like, you know, we ended up becoming us. That's one of the things I was really proud of, is just kind of looking at like what run game fits us best. What's the best thing for Chuba? What's the best pass game for Bryce? You know, with the different pieces that we have on the offensive side.
I can tell you what the best pass game is for Bryce. It's called get the ball out of his hands quick.
Stretch, to put ourselves in position to play good football and beat a really good team in the wild card round and give the Lions a run for their money there.
Best
That's a
game
really
came
good
for
team,
Chuba. We
a
might
great
need to
environment,
double think
challenge for
that,
us
right?
there. And there were a couple games that got pretty hot there, you know, and this is my first time around, so I'm really excited to see the growth there too. Some people in the building that
Miles
we have
didn't like that one.
at
Well,
a high
Miles
level
has a
for
lot
long
to
time.
needs to prove.
Jim Caldwell being one of those, who's just got an eye for offense, an eye for this whole organizational piece, and I'm excited for my growth in the second year.
Matt Chad, is that why you watch
The
Dan?
mentality is
Because
what you're
of
giving us
you
today.
got family in Buffalo?
And just having that variety, having the marriage of the run and pass. Things
I
that
know, I
start
saw
out the
that.
same but end up being different. You
Wish
know,
I
to
could
have
afford it.
those nuances and plays and utilize my staff so I can have good information on game day.
If Chin shakes Dave's hand, he might be the
Dave,
one.
are there particular things you recall about Dan as a young scout in Seattle, his first, you know, entry into that part of the profession, and how do you guys plan to create kind of that John Pete dynamic here?
Yeah, well, we were about, was it one or two doors apart? Two doors apart in the hallway down there, and it was kind of a little bit of a crazy, loud hallway for us. And but you know what I remember about Dan in those times is just his conviction, his belief. Actually, I'm sure you have a hard time, you know, thinking that he had an opinion about stuff. But right off the bat, you know, just as a former player, he comes in and is like, he could just see it. He could just tell what a good football player was. And by no means was I an expert at that time, but I just, you know, I have a high value of my ability to evaluate. And Dan always had his opinions, and it was very clear thoughts that he felt strongly about. So that impressed me.
They're a whole different
Early on.
level,
And
my
as we
friend.
grew to get to know each other, it was just kind of like he was such a natural in this world of evaluating players.
Hey guys, Joe Person back here in the fourth row. I've got one for each of you, so I'll start with Dan. Hearing a lot of talk about alignment, how much of that and how you guys wanted to restructure the front office and build Dave's staff has to do with last season when there were lots of reports of factions among the staff and even going all the way up to ownership?
I think it has to do everything with just moving forward. And, you know, we're not looking back, we're looking ahead. We all
I
wanna
have
be
seen it,
aligned,
Matt Cheddar.
the business side.
That's
the
a good
football
question by
side,
Joe
the
Parsons.
locker room, the weight room, everybody on the same page, same mission, same vision. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about alignment. The whole building has to be on the same page. If we want to win, we all have to be on the same page. And we got to be communicating every day. We got to know the building inside out, and we all have to be aligned, plain and simple.
Dave, you mentioned Ajero. What's your confidence level? Is the defensive staff going to be back intact?
Oh my gosh! I mean, just the respect factor that I have going against them. I know the scheme going against it. I'm really excited to learn more about the ins and outs as far as how the calls come in, the adjustments and all that. I just know it was really difficult on me for years, whether it was in Seattle going against the Rams in that family, or this year just going against EJ twice. So, and this is really important for me, especially as a first-time head coach who's like, I'm here to make sure we get our football right, especially on the offensive side. That we
He's
have
all or
continuity,
nothing. He seems to
with
be
the
more all
players,
or nothing
with
type of talk
EJ,
kind of
just
guy.
being able to have the mentality that I saw that was really challenging to play against. Yes, this is, for me, like a huge piece of what we're doing.
Dan, you right here in third row. You
I don't know if that answered the
some
question
people
of
telling you
Evero
that you were
Stan,
a
though.
good talent evaluator. When did you realize that was where maybe your plan was after playing?
I think once I got done playing, you're always, as a former player, I know a lot of guys here, like, you try to figure out what is the next step, who am I? Because you reach your goal at such a young age, and then you're left retired, and you're like 30
Nah, I don't think
years
he does,
old, and
really.
you're like, well, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? It's not like you can go in the corporate world or just go somewhere and get a job. So for me, it was about getting back into what I knew best, which was football.
Exactly.
To start out in Seattle,
That's where it starts, right
learn
there,
out
Matt
there
Chatter. I was
with
saying that
some of the
earlier.
best, one of the best GMs in the NFL, and then to continue that on to Buffalo and learn under Brandon Beane, like, it's been invaluable. They've taught me a lot, and they've really made me who I am today in terms of an evaluator.
Dan, do me a favor, sit back.
Dave, Dan, Jorge Andres with WBTV. First, Dave, welcome to Charlotte.
Thank you.
Quick question for each of you. I'll start with you, Dave. You mentioned a little bit of analytics when you went into talking about the plus 182% for a win. We all obviously know the turnaround that Russ, Gino, and Baker have done. How do you plan to implement those resources and those analytics when analyzing Bryce's trajectory and the potential that he could be?
I haven't really gotten fully into the details on that. I watched a good amount of Bryce going into the interview process, but right now I'm going back through the games, kind of looking at the story of the season.
Absolutely. Patience is key
critical
right now.
moments in those games. So,
yeah, we do need some linebackers.
There's
Definitely
a bunch of
need some
critical
linebackers.
variables. I don't want to get too much into the football philosophy at this point, but
I think linebackers, corners, defensive line, the three. Those are the main three on the defense. I would say we need another guy in the trenches. Definitely another linebacker to help out Luvu.
Getting that ball out in 2-7 or less.
Probably two linebackers if we're running that. If we're going to continue running this 3-4 defense.
Seattle, and being able to just track that for decision making, for route timing,
and probably I would probably even say an extra corner or two.
Really good brand
defensively.
Of football that is complementary.
But that offense it should be redone first.
This one is for you. Bringing Dave in and having the conversations to bring Dave in. He's currently the only head coach of Mexican descent. It's no secret that the Carolinas and the Charlotte area has the largest Mexican demographic in this part. Talk me through that thought process of that representation for a large fan base that is quickly growing year by year as well.
I think first of all, diversity is a big part of what we do here with the Carolina Panthers. Dave just happened to be, Mexican, American, and also a really good coach and a really qualified coach. So I'm really happy that he's here with us, and we're really blessed to have him.
Guys, Brett Jensen with WBT Radio over. There you go. There you go. Dave, this is for you. In terms of, you've worked with short quarterbacks in the past, successful with Russell Wilson, successful with Baker Mayfield.
He said short quarterbacks.
Quarterback with Geno Smith. Is there a special way to coach shorter quarterbacks under 6 feet, as opposed to a taller quarterback?
I think there are certain challenges. I'm not going to go and tell the whole NFC South what those advantages are. I think that's kind of a proprietary deal that we're going to own here. But I will say that there are just certain things you can do to help. There are ways to find
it's called get Bryce Young an offensive line.
You got a guy like
and a
Drew
scheme
Brees
that fits the
about
offense
height,
and get him some weapons. And it's
short
also
in
Bryce
terms of
going into
6'7"
powerlifting and putting on 10 to 20 pounds.
So whether you're 5'11" or whether you're 6'1", you can't really see over any of the linemen. So There's an approach.
Yeah,
to
no
it.
defense. I
And at
know.
the end of
I
the
know.
day,
But I'm
it's
just
about
saying we're gonna have to fix
decision-making,
that whole
and
offense
just
first
kind of
before
making
the
sure that we
defense.
can
We need to
have
go all
as many
offense.
of our 5 eligibles available for the quarterback from a visual standpoint.
Guys, Kyle Bailey, WFNZ back right. Dan, for you first. Congratulations to you both, by the way. You mentioned Brant Tillis.
No, that's
seems rather
illegal.
significant to be bringing over a guy who's been a part of multiple Super Bowls and 6 straight conference championship trips. What impact do you envision him having and your working relationship? What does that look like? And then for you, Dave, a lot of guys in your position, after just a year of calling plays, successfully albeit, might decide, hey, one more season, 2 more seasons before I'm ready to run my own operation. How did you know personally that now was the time for you to become a head coach, or was it as simple as this was your only offer?
I think having Brand here, it's really a blessing for us to have somebody with the knowledge that he has, how smart he is, how good of a person he
Why
is.
cowboy boots?
To be able to work with him every day and collaborate and talk about the roster and kind of fit all the pieces of the puzzle together, and to have Brand, kind of work side to side with him, that's invaluable. So I'm super excited that he's here, and I can't wait until he takes all these coaches' contracts off my plate too, because I've been having to do that before he got here. So I'm ready to hand that off to you now, Brant.
He's been crushing it too, by the way. So for me, this is a dream come true. I think the part that I kind of feel a little bit compelled to say is I'm 42 years old. My wife and I have been together for 20 years. I spent 14 amazing years with one of the greatest football coaches of all time, in Pete Carroll. So I got to sit there and just really formulate my plan and just wait for that opportunity to come along. And I just was like, my wife and I just kind of thinking like, we're ready for this, lead self, lead others, lead organizations. And that's been an approach
He's
and
got a
mentality
Rolex
that I've
on.
had for a while. So when this opportunity
I can
came
tell
up
it's a
and then I
Rolex.
started seeing the pieces coming, I just got so fired up about it, and I'm really ready to serve this team.
7:30 the game, ESPN Charlotte. You talked about that alignment. I guess in terms of the alignment, even the power structure, what does that look like between ownership, front office, and coaching staff?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a strong bond. It's going to be a daily communication between the front office, between ownership, between the head coach, and
next up we got the Ropp Star Report, YouTube
just
sensation.
on just everyday thinking, like what are we about? What's the vision?
First off, I'd like to welcome you, Coach, and congratulations, Dan Morgan, to your
every single day. So it's just constant communication
for your
and
promotion.
It's just being aligned with everything we do.
So what the fuck are we gonna do?
Guys, on your right, Mike Solarte, Spectrum News 1. Dave, welcome to the Carolinas. Dan,
thanks, Mike.
Congratulations. It's been a journey.
Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
No, screw your Harbor Freight.
In your careers, are you guys feeling any amount of pressure to try to bring this team back to where you want it to go, Dan? I mean, you were part of the Super Bowl team, and Dave, I know you want to follow in those footsteps.
No pressure, but a lot of hunger. Like a lot of hunger to be great, a lot of hunger to get this organization back to where it needs to be, which is back in the playoffs, which is competing for championships.
Who knows? I mean, I don't think that's going to happen back then. I really don't. I don't see either of these guys getting fired until year 3. I think I'm going to be positive and say these guys get fired in year 3.
I mean,
if they do get fired.
Just getting this opportunity, and
I hope so.
I've got a ton of
Because then
excitement
at least
about
they'll
it.
show that Tepper has some kind of patience now.
I'm ready to put to the test, and that's been a lot of theory, from
if they don't put it together by year 3 is what I mean.
Yeah, this is a big task. This is serious for me. This is a great
basically going into their 4th year.
And so I don't take that lightly, but at the same time,
if they don't start winning games
hit,
by the 3rd year and going into the 4th, I think.
And I love a great challenge, and I didn't shy away from the Tampa job. And there was a lot of people that kind of looked at that and thought, like, what are you thinking? You got a great situation with Geno in Seattle. And I just was like, I'm going to bet on us. And I'm going to look at what we do have and see if I can make the most. It's about maximizing. Somebody ran into me and was like, you guys really overachieved. And I just hate that term. I love the thought of maximizing, just getting every last drop out of everyone involved, all together in a worthy cause. So I'm excited for it, and I'm nervous too. And I realize how weighty this is.
All right, we have time for 2 more questions. We'll go in the back and then wrap up with Alex Zietlow from the phone.
Michael Sett, Fox Charlotte. Dan, at the moment, you guys do not have a first-round draft pick. How high is it on the to-do list to get one?
It's not really high. I mean, we have the 33rd pick, which, you know, is essentially a late first-round pick. We're just going to draft good players. And, you know, hopefully at 33, I think there'll be a good player there. You know, if we choose to move back, if we choose to move up, you know, that's to be seen. But we're going to plan. We're going to have a plan, and we're going to execute on that plan.
Hello, to your right. Alex Zietlow with the Charlotte Observer. Dave, welcome. Dan, again, thank you so much for taking the time. Dave, you have shown that you are enthusiastic online and are willing to engage with the fan base on social media. When did that start? Is that going to continue? And why do you think that's important?
I think what's important to me is that we all grow to have a relationship. And as we have a chance to get into more detail about what we're looking for from a football standpoint, my hope is that I can show you what to look for in what we're going to try to become. From a philosophical standpoint, of course, the whys and the hows, that's going to be.
See, he's an all-in guy. He talks all in.
My hope is that if I put this.
My hope is that everything you're saying, Dave Canales, is that you do.
Where like you keep me accountable on this.
Say what you do, mean what you say what you mean.
You guys
right?
are crazy about the ball. We had 3
actions speak louder than words.
We were -2.
I still need to see that.
3.
Again, guys, I told y'all my expectations are not high.
We want to play. So my hope is that we can kind of grow in that relationship as we have that.
I'm not high on Dan Morgan. I'm not high on Dave Canales. I think they were both good hires. I do. I truly believe that they are good hires. But I am not going to hold them. I just don't think.
All right, thank you everyone for being here today. Really appreciate you.
Just don't think it's going to change in 1
year.
year.
Now we would ask at the TVs if you would make your way down the hall. We have an opportunity for one-on-ones with our head coach and president and general manager. And for our working writing press, if you would make your way to our media workroom, we'll have some player availability coming up very shortly. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, that was the end of that. Finally, I thought it was a good press conference. I just think that the audio was absolutely atrocious. Let's be honest there. The audio was absolutely atrocious. I think this is a business. At the end of the day, I think this is a business. You signed a contract. The Panthers don't, you know, like, I don't know. I think that I don't know. I just think that at the end of the day, that it comes down to David Tepper not meddling within football operations. If people expect them to win 20 games, they're smoking. Yeah, I mean, I don't like. I wish someone would have asked, though, in this media, though. I wish the media would have asked them, is David Tepper going to be making football decisions? Is he going to be helping you guys out in this process? Like, is he going to be making the football operations? Is he going to be meddling with that? That's what I would have asked. You know, I mean, again, at the end of the day, I think they've got great plans. I like what I heard from Dan. I like what I heard from Dave. But the problem still remains, though. Again, is Tepper going to be putting a choke collar on all the staff and the players, right? Like, that's what it comes down to. Like, this team's not going to win, like, in its first year. The season, I think this season will be a good season for us because it's going to be the rebuilding season. I think this team definitely needs a full rebuild. And Dave has billions of dollars. But that really doesn't mean anything. Everybody's going to have patience, though. I think it's just going to take time. And y'all got to be more patient than David Tepper as a fan base, too. Like, y'all got to be patient. Anybody that thinks this team's going to make a deep playoff run or something like that, y'all are out your mind. I think it was a great question on the first round pick. I was kind of interested to hear what he had to say. Obviously, he says that they're not interested. I don't know if that's 100% true, right? I think that, to me, I think there has to be some interest there, especially to move up. I think what's going to happen, though, I still think they're going to tag and trade Burns, but I think they're going to trade back. I think they're going to try to get as much value out of the Burns trade, and then I think they'll trade back again to get more draft capital. For me, I don't give a fuck. I hope they trade down to get more compensation for picks because we need young talent here. We need some offensive line depth. We need wide receiver depth, and we need a reliable playmaking tight end. And with those three things, you're gonna need to trade back because we don't have enough draft capital to make those three things happen. So I mean, it sounds like they're just gonna be focusing on. It sounds like they're going to be focusing more on trying to use the picks they already got. So maybe they re-sign Burns. I don't know. We'll see. What did you and Tepper discuss about your role? That's a good question. They were paid not to, I bet. I don't care about wins. I want to see improvement in pass game, son. I want to see improvement all around, Matt Chatter. Hell with just one thing. We want to see improvement all the way around. We do. We want to see improvement all the way around the board. Okay. We absolutely do. Like, yeah, of course, the Bryce Young thing is definitely contestant number one. Like, you want to get that settled up. Sure. I'm all about that. That's fine. But at the same time, like, we have other holes that need to be flourished. I think what needs to be done is, yes, you need to fill the holes on the offensive line. You need to get skilled players out there for Bryce, and you need to get playmaking tight end, right? But then it comes down to the fact that figuring, like Dave Canales said, working off Bryce's strengths. So scheming up what fits the players best. And it's not just Bryce. He mentioned that for every player. That statement alone for me was one of the best statements, right? But I've said it before, and I said it yesterday. I said it yesterday about Bryce's can Dave Canales get the most out of Bryce's potential, right? That was the question can he unlock Bryce's potential? And that, to your question here, Mad Chatter. Yeah, I mean, bring in younger QBs. I'd be even open to grabbing a QB in this draft and bring in some competition for Bryce. Like, you could get probably Joe Milton in the late round who's got a freaking cannon, right? I mean, it all depends, right? Or they bring somebody to be his backup. Maybe you bring in a guy like Drew Lock, which makes sense, right? Maybe they bring in a guy like Drew Lock to be Bryce's backup. Who knows? If the 7th round quarterback we draft is better than Bryce, we know, right? Exactly. So, but to your question, Mad Chatter, the thing is that how's Dave Canales plan on unlocking that potential of Bryce, right? We were talking about that yesterday. And he was kind of saying that in the thing is building around his strengths, working on his strengths, and building up his weaknesses as well. I mean, basically he's an all-in guy. You can tell he's an all-in guy just by the way he talks. and speaks. He's an all-in guy. It's all or nothing. And I like that. I think that's good. He sounds like a guy that's going to hold players accountable, and he should. And hopefully Dan Morgan is as good as the evaluator as he speaks to be and as other people have spoken about. And hopefully that we see that the fact that the Scott Fitterer thing was that the fact that Dan Morgan just really didn't have a say. And hopefully that's the case. Because you got a mountain-sized task here ahead dealing with this quarterback disaster. Because seriously, do y'all guys think, though, in the chat, sound off in the chat, let me know what you think. Who thought making Dave Canales the head coach was a good idea for the Panthers? Like, sound off in the chat. Like, let me know. Because I'm curious. Because I am curious about that still. Right? You know, who thought making Canales was a good idea for the head coach for the Panthers? This question right here. This is the question. Like, who thought that it was a good idea? Because here's the thing that we got to talk about Bryce Young. Because we know that last year was a flaming dumpster fire. Obviously, with the whole coaching drama, like the number one overall pick, did he deliver? I think it was a sorry excuse of a performance last season. I really do. Now, is it all Bryce's fault? No. Is there things that Bryce can work on? Yes. But no. Again, our offensive line represented Swiss cheese. The wide receiver room was about as shallow as a kid's swimming pool. Tight end room was like Casper the Ghost. Like, non-existent. So the Carolina couldn't even get their act together to support this kid. Like I told y'all last year, it was plain and simple. It was a disaster, and it was too much cooks in the kitchen. Everybody and their grandma was talking in Bryce's ear. Too much drama. The whole James Campen thing now coming out was obviously he was a freaking cancer to the locker room. But you bring in this young guy, Canales, who's riding on his high horse, seems to claim that he's the savior. Now, I don't think he claims the savior. It kind of seems like that, but he's got some history with other quarterbacks, though. Sure, Russell Wilson, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield. He's been there, done that. But can he work miracles with Bryce Young? Now, we all know Joe Parsons, who was asking those. He asked some pretty good questions there from The Athletic. And I think he thinks that it starts with a few people in Young's ear, right? That's where it all started from last year. Well, yeah, no kidding. I mean, the kid had more voices in his head than Randy Orton. I mean, Canales needs to clean house. Get everyone on the same page, just like they were saying in the like I've been saying, but the same thing that they just said in the press conference. I've been saying that. Everybody needs to be on the same page. Build a decent supporting cast. Build that culture. Build that environment up around there. Build that locker room up. Make sure that everybody's on the same page. It won't be a quick fix, but that's the obvious solution. I mean, also the last season was so much of a chaotic nature there. It had to. I believe that with the chaotic nature of the Panthers last season, I think it had to develop. Affected the development of Bryce Young. Like everybody should know that. Like, it doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to figure that out. Like, the coaching change after coaching change and the offensive play calling circus with Young had to mess with Young big time. You got tight end Hayden Hurst, who spilled the beans to everyone. Too many voices, which caused the NFL's worst passer rating and an embarrassing completion percentage. So, I mean, yeah, Canales has got to provide a damn environment for Young to thrive in. It's not rocket science. Get the coaching staff on the same page. Give the guy some playmakers. Protect him from crying out loud. Canales needs to figure this out, or the Panthers might as well kiss this investment in Young goodbye. Young has the tools, sure. Heisman winner, blah, blah, blah. But he needs a kick in the rear. And Canales is supposed to be the guy to do that. He's got confidence issues, accuracy problems, shaky footwork. It's all on the table. Canales has to work some magic, or this whole thing's going to be an epic failure, right? But it's still that we got to reverberate back to the fact that, is David Tepper going to stop meddling with football operations? I think Canales was a good idea. I think it's a good hire. Don't get me wrong. I think it was a good hire. I do believe it. I'm just not going to say that I will jump on here live with you and take my medicine if he falls. Fair enough. I mean, here's the thing, guys. Like, I don't think it's a bad hire, but I'm just keeping my expectations low from now on until proven otherwise. I'm keeping my expectations low. I don't care if we go on a 6-0 winning streak. I'm not going to be like, if we go on a 6-0 winning streak next year, right? We went 0-6, right? But let's say next year we go 6-0, start off the season. I'm not going to come on here and be like, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. No. Still going to be humbled as shit because any given Sunday, you never know what's going to happen in the NFL. So until proven otherwise, I will come on here and still keep my expectations low. I will. But seriously, he did. He had more. Literally, Bryce Young had more voices in his head than Randy Orton. Don't talk to me until I had my lithium. Okay. Let's put the chat over here so I can see y'all. Excuse me. Exactly. That's the reason why I said it. So they obviously brought in Brant Tillis. Let's talk about that real quick. We all know that Brant Tillis, Panthers hired him. And I know they broke the news in that, but they broke the news yesterday. They broke the news while I was live yesterday, so I didn't really get to talk about it that much. But I did want to let you know. But it's time for this front office is taking a full, completely makeover because Tillis is going to bring the thunder to the Panthers in that administrative scene. He's that newfound partner in crime for Dan Morgan. And hopefully, Dan Morgan said that, it's great to add Brant and his experience to our organization. And I think that translates to that Tillis is here to drop some championship level knowledge bombs on a struggling franchise. This guy came from Kansas City. He knows what it takes to win as an executive. And that's big, bringing a guy from Kansas City who knows what championship football looks like. I think Brant Tillis is going to be a great hire. A guy that's definitely on the analytics side. He's going to be that Robin to Dan Morgan, who's Batman. Like I said before, we need a guy that can come in here, maneuver some contracts, can sign guys with, where we're not over-signing guys, right? Restructure some contracts. And we're going to be going over a couple contracts today. Frankie Luvu's contract, what that extension could look like. We're also going to go over the to-do list for Brant Tillis and what contract he needs to get rid of. We're going to use Spot Tracker. I also finished up my draft board. It's not completely finished yet, but the draft board is almost done. I know I showed y'all a little glimpse of it, but I took it an extra step further. So we'll look at that as well. And then we're going to talk about the Ravens possibly closing in on a deal with the Carolina Panthers. Just so y'all know, there's a story out there right now that the Ravens might be closing in on a deal for Brian Burns. So stay tuned, guys, as we go through today. But back to Brant Tillis. Now, Tillis is actually one of the guys who interviewed the GM position. Not once, but twice. And let's face it, they needed him more than we needed him more than he needed us. Let's be honest. And he's well regarded around the league. And why wouldn't he be? Right? He's pulling the strings behind the scenes in Kansas City. He's the one who has orchestrated the contract negotiations there. I remember a nice little contract extension for Pat Mahomes. That was Tillis flexing those negotiation muscles, a 10-year, $450 million masterpiece. If he can handle Mahomes, he can handle anything. And the Panthers throw at him. And, so this guy definitely knows what he's doing. Now, according to the team site, I took a little taste off of the website. Tillis is away from playing patty cake. He's taking charge of everything football related that doesn't involve coaching operations, equipment, video, analytics, you name it, right? But he's going to be the guy that, that's going to be in the playground of the contract negotiation. So compliance with the CBA, league rules, child's play, right? Salary cap manager, please. He's done that in his sleep. So maintenance and labor administration, absolutely. So Tillis at the helm. The front office is in for a wild ride. He's not here to just negotiate contracts. He's here to arrange a Panthers resurgence. So get ready for Brant Tillis era where contracts are crafted with the finesse of the sledgehammer and negotiations hit harder than a linebacker on game day. It's time for the Panthers to rise from the ashes, and hopefully Brant Tillis can maneuver some of that cap space, restructure some contracts, and hopefully we can come in here with a little bit higher cap space. All right. Let's get into the cap space thing now. All right, so we're talking about Brant Tillis still here, okay? All right, let's talk about Brant Tillis and what his to-do list looks like. All right, we're going to use Spot Tracker. Okay? And I'm going to show you how to do this. So, this is the to-do list of the Carolina Panthers, right? This is how we're going to redo this right now. Ole, 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 ole. Ole, ole. All right, so first things first. Bye-bye Ian Thomas, okay? This is the Spot Tracker, okay? Bye-bye Ian Thomas, okay? The Panthers made a blunder with the Ian Thomas contract, overestimating his potential like they were playing fantasy football, of course. And now with the prospect of the upgrading the tight end room, it's time to cut Thomas loose. Sorry, Ian, you're more surplus than a discount warehouse. So the saving grace, a mere $2.26 million, but hey, even penny counts, right? Every penny counts. So we are going to cut. So watch this. Over here, let's get into this. Yeah. Let's update this real quick. Cap space is at $30 million. All right. So we're going to go over here. We're going to cut Ian Thomas. See? We just added, look at that, 2.26. Look at that. So you cut Ian Thomas. This is Brant Tillis' to-do list. I'm breaking it down for you. We're going to maneuver the cap. Let's do it. All right. Next on the to-do list. The Taylor Moton's money makeover is what I'm going to call it. Taylor Moton's money makeover, okay? You got to, while the Panthers' offensive line resembles a leaky faucet last season, Taylor Moton stood strong, probably the best. He had the best grade on our offensive line, okay? PFF grade. We're going to restructure his contract because Tillis is a mastermind at this. He has freeing up a hefty $8.14 million. It's like getting a discount on a superhero, okay? The man of consistency, Mr. Moton, can keep protecting the Panthers and get extra cash to fill the gaps. It's a win-win situation, or should I say Moton money magic. That's what I like to call it. So we're going to go back up here. We're going to restructure this. Bam. 8.8 million. 8.8 million. We just restructured. So we cut Ian Thomas. And we restructured Taylor Moton's contract. And we just saved ourselves $8.8 million. We released Ian Thomas. So here's the transaction log over here. $2.2 million. We just saved ourselves between $8.8 million now. We're in the cap space of 39. All right, so this is Brant Tillis's to-do list. Next up is the Dante Jackson dilemma. Okay? Well, I've been on this kick for a long time. It's not that I don't like Dante Jackson. Okay? It's the fact of the matter that, yes, did he have a decent season? But let's face it, paying him like he's the second coming of Deion Sanders is a stretch. Tillis needs to channel his inner ruthless business and cut ties. The price tag, a cool $10.5 million. If Jackson doesn't like it, maybe he can run a 40-yard dash straight into a better deal elsewhere. But that's what we're going to do. Yeah, so wait a minute. I'll go back. Yeah, you can just cut him, trade him, whichever you want to do. Either way, you're going to have to release him. Okay? I don't think I can restructure his contract on here. But he's going in his last year of his contract. Right now, the cap hit that we're taking from that, I told y'all, is $15.7 million. All right, so that's why we got to cut it. Because guess what? We saved $5.9 million. Look where the cap space went from. So hold on. I want to show y'all this. Okay? We're going to go back to all of this. Okay? I'm going to put everybody back. We're at $30 million. Just so y'all can see. We're at $30 million. You got to we're going to restructure Taylor Moton. We're going to cut ties with Dante. And we're going to cut ties with Ian. Look at that. We went from $30 million to a cap space of $45 million. A total of $14.7 million. $6.5 million savings from Taylor Moton, 5.9 savings from Dante Jackson, and $2.26 million from Ian Thomas. Guys, you can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. That's how we're going to save money. Now, I'm not done. I'm not done. So, Von Bell is another one. The Panthers' defense wasn't the problem, okay, guys? We know that. But why not make it even better? Von Bell, the unsung hero, could agree to a little financial facelift. Tillis could restructure his deal, saving us $3.89 million. It's like finding a spare change in the couch cushions. Easily, surprising, satisfied. Same thing like finding that spare change in the dryer, right? So, Von Bell, we're going to restructure your contract. Look at that. $2.3 million. That's just a wonderful sight. That is just a wonderful sight. Look at that. We literally have now saved ourselves $17.1 million in cap space. You're restructuring Taylor Moton, you're releasing Dante Jackson, you release Ian Thomas, and then we restructured Von Bell. Okay? Now, Thielen. I know he was promised a rose garden, basically. Okay. But all we got was a thorny rebuild. If the Panthers want to part ways, finding a trade partner might be the way to go post June 1st. It could save them $8.17 million. So sorry, Thielen. It's not you. It's the cap. I would say good luck finding a contender willing to take on the Panthers version of a seasoned wide receiver. So you go ahead. We're going to go over here. We're going to trade. I'm just going to trade him. I'm trying to think of a team that would probably take him. Probably the Bills. I could see the Bills taking him. Just because we always go with them. Yeah, we'll just say, well, you can't do draft picks on here, which sucks, but it is what it is. So we'll process the trade anyways. Well, we save ourselves $3.2 million. Adam Thielen. It's just for an example. All right. It's not like true. But this is how you save yourself $17.1 million in cap space. So you get out of that cap space. You restructure Taylor Moton. You release Dante Jackson before that June 1st designation. You release Ian Thomas. You restructure Von Bell. And then you trade Adam Thielen. And you're going to save yourself $17.1 million. And just that alone, you could sign. Just that alone, you save $17 million. I mean, we literally went from $30 million to $50 million in cap space. And I think there's a dead cap. Actually, I don't know. What's this published roster? What do you do with this? So dead cap ends up becoming $25 million. But then the cap space we have available. I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, you save yourself that much money, right? Because like if we start all over, like again, you look at it, we're at $30.2 million. Restructure, release, restructure. Where is he? Release. Release and trade. We're just going to say the Bills. I mean, there you go. I mean, that's the Brant Tillis to-do list right there. Those 5 things. You restructure Taylor Moton. You restructure Von Bell. You release Ian Thomas and Dante Jackson. And you trade Adam Thielen. And you save yourself $7.1 million. And what do y'all think? I think it's in the savings of that $17 million, you could sign Marquise Brown for $12 million. Right then and there. You automatically can get yourself a wide receiver from the free agency with just this trade. You automatically can get a Marquise Brown for $12 million. That leaves you with out of that savings, you got $5 million left over to sign whatever else you need. But then you're also going to still have, obviously, you have the total of $50 million. I mean, but in that total savings, you could sign Marquise Brown or maybe even Gabe Davis for 1 year. I'm back. Had a pipe under the house burst. Oh, shit. That's crazy. Then I had a possum rubbing against my leg like a cat. Oh, hell no. I'm gone. Or I'm shooting that motherfucker, one or the other. Justin Bryant comes in and says, didn't see the presser, but saw the first chat with new head coach. Definitely like the guy so far. Like how he said coaches through a QB strengths. Yeah, I mean, Justin Bryant, the press conference wasn't bad. The audio was absolutely ass. But it wasn't bad. I mean, you can tell Dave Canales is an all-in kind of guy. He's an all-in kind of guy. So, I did like some things that he had to say. I like some things Dan Morgan had to say. There were some tough questions that were asked. I thought they handled it very well, but again, my expectations are not very high, guys. I'm not saying that Brent Tillis was a bad hire. I'm not saying that Dan Morgan's a bad hire. I like both of the hires. I'm just not, my expectations with this team are going to continue to be low until proven otherwise. Yeah, Matt Chatter, they really are. You can pick them up and pet them. I don't trust all that shit. Y'all are out your mind of petting a damn possum. Fuck all that. Oh man, so this is the to-do list. Those 5 things right there for a Brant Tillis. Restructure Taylor Moton. Dan did not blink. Maybe he snorted an 8-ball before he hopped up on the podium. I don't know. Restructure Taylor Moton. Restructure Von Bell. Release Ian Thomas. Release Dante Jackson. And trade Adam Thielen. I know that sounds crazy, but you can sign a better wide receiver. You can sign a better wide receiver with that. You could honestly, with the savings and plus the cap space now, you could sign 2 wide receivers. Just for that. Y'all are nuts. Talking about some damn possums. All right, let's move on. Let's get into, so we're going to stay on spot tracker. Okay. We're going to talk about another contract that we need to talk about. We talked about Derek Brown's contract yesterday. We need to talk about Frankie Louvu's contract, and I need to find it. Where's it at? Dude, Frankie Louvu, are you telling me that his contract's not on here? Can I add oh, yes. But I wanted to go to his profile. That's all it was. Can I go to Frankie Louvu's profile? I want to go to his. All right, hold on. Free agents. Let's do this. Let's see. He's got to be on this list. Because I want to go over his contract. I wanted to go over what his contract's going to look like. There's DJ Chark. Frankie Louvu. Perfect. Market value. Thank you. Okay, Frankie Louvu. Let's talk about it because we're going to have to deal with it. We're going to have to deal with it. So, Frankie Louvu's market value right now is at 11.2. Market value says it's a 4-year contract for $45 million. He's ranked 199th in NFL ranks. They got him ranked as a linebacker 25th. Okay. Now, these are fellow players based off their age, contract status, statistical production. Okay. So you got Jawan Bentley, Alex Zaloni, Devondre Campbell, Raquan Smith. Okay. All around his age and in this timeline. So the average comes out to down here based off a spot tracker 3.8. So it says 3.8. So basically for rounded up to 4 years, around 45.4 mil, average salary around 12.1. All right. Here's the thing, because Scott Fitter actually did something right in his time here, and that was getting Frankie Louvu, signing him. He literally went from Jets bench warmer to a full-blown Carolina starter, which is crazy to me. Leaving a trail of destruction and 12 and a half sacks in the last 2 seasons, okay? I think that Louvu isn't just a player. I think he's a force of nature on the field. Blending with speed, power, like a hurricane in black and blue, okay? Alongside Brian Burns, Derek Brown, definitely a nice trio there. And the quarter and without this trio, and opposing signal callers might as well book a vacation in the end zone. Now Frankie Louvu's 27 years old. He enters the 2024 offseason. He's eyeing a well-deserved payday. After outperforming expectations, establishing himself as a key piece of the Panthers defense, I think Louvu's prime position to cash in. Okay, guys. So what will this contract look like? Okay. Let's play a crystal ball here. Check out some comparable players like we just did right here. All right. There's some other comparable players. All right. Oh, I'm still sharing this. Whoops. There we go. There we go. Sorry. I had to show you this, and I had you on the wrong screen. So you got Arden Key, Caden Ellis, both in their 20s. Secure deals in the ballpark of $21 million. Considering that Louvu's slightly superior production, entering the free agency a year later, a 3-year deal in the range of 21 to 23 seems to be about, I would say it's around that. I think so. There's others that, like, if you look at those guys that I just mentioned, they're all kind of around the same. Now, these guys are definitely based off statistical comparisons here, right? But I would say it's a solid bet for a 3-year deal in the range of 21 to 23 million. I think it's a solid bet. It's clear that letting Louvu walk would be a blunder to this team. It would also be a blunder to, obviously, if we trade Burns, but we might have to, obviously, because number one, I don't think we can afford him. Even if we did all those things that on that to-do list for Brant Tillis, we still wouldn't be able to afford him. But Louvu has brought the heat, playing like a possessed man every down. I think that you can afford this guy for the 21 to 23 million over a $30 million contract that Brian Burns is looking for. So this is definitely on top of the to-do list for the Carolina Panthers to sign this guy. It's not just a smart move. It's a no-brainer, I think, for me. Hopefully Frankie Louvu gets that payday he deserves. So all right, a couple more things here. So Brian Burns to the Ravens. The only reason why I'm saying that is because of this article. Okay. Apparently, according to an article by Bleacher Report, which I can't find the one by Bleacher Report, the Carolina Panthers and Baltimore Ravens could come to terms on a Brian Burns trade. Now, here's the thing. This fucking computer. I'm about to break this computer. This is ridiculous for it to be lagging this much. My internet is. Dear God, dude. Are we okay? Sorry, guys. Like I don't know what's going on lately between YouTube and my laptop. I don't know what's going on, but for some reason, I every time I hit over an hour and 30 minutes or almost to the 2-hour mark, it's like everything starts lagging. So I apologize. All right, let's get back into this. Now, apparently, there's a prospect of a blockbuster trade for Brian Burns between the Panthers and Baltimore Ravens. Okay. This is like a high stakes poker game now. Both teams are obviously trying to reach success. One team is obviously the more superior team because look what the Ravens have done, right? They've actually gone to the playoffs and won a playoff game. But definitely taking different routes to get there. All right. We all know the Ravens are fresh off that AFC championship appearance. Stuttered around the best record in the NFL, while the Panthers, we all know, found ourselves in a disappointment, finishing dead last. So it's a tale of two teams, one thriving, the other surviving, right? The Bleacher Report, the armchair GMs of the digital sports world, proposing a trade that could send shockwaves to the league. Brian Burns, our star pass rusher, is the subject of a potential gridiron heist, I guess you could say. So let's address the elephant in the room because this is something that I was reading on today. Burns has been the forbidden fruit of trade talks, right? Los Angeles Rams, they were waving 2 first-round picks like a carrot at the Panthers. They fucked up that offer, and then even DJ Moore was deemed more expandable than Burns, but hey, things change, right? As Burns edges closer to an unrestricted free agency, the Panthers might be getting antsy. So Bleacher Report apparently throws out this hypothetical trade into the ring. Basically a 2024 first round pick, a 2025 third round pick, and an edge, David Ojobo. It's basically a football chess move. A calculated risk for both sides. So the Panthers need young blood to support Bryce. And the Ravens, well, they are eyeing a championship window like a hawk. They propose the proposed deal is tantalizing exchange. Burns for a proven pass rusher in David Ojobo, and a 2024 first rounder and a 2025 third rounder. From an outside perspective, without an outside perspective, from my perspective, I guess I could say I'm an outside perspective, but it's a trade that makes sense. I think if those Panthers are assuming can't lock Brian Burns down on a long-term deal, Bryce Young needs weapons. And without a first-round pick, they left the offense in doldrums. So the Ravens, on the other hand, get their hands on a proven pass rusher. But hold on. David Ojobo is a wild card here. A second-round steal for the Ravens with a draft stock due to an Achilles injury. So it's a low-risk, high-reward gamble for the Panthers. If Ojobo pans out, they've got a pass rusher ace. If not, well, then it's the NFL. No guts, no glory, right? So the Panthers and the Ravens might be cooking up a trade that will have the football pundits, I would say, debating for the seasons to come. We'll see if it happens. We will see if it happens. It's interesting to see, though. It's interesting to see those articles out there and stuff like that. Guys, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. I've been on here for 2 hours. I've got to hop off. I got some other things I got to do. I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. The press conference was okay. The audio was terrible, but like some things I heard, some tough questions were asked. Let's just hope. The end of the day, guys, let's just hope David Tepper doesn't meddle within football operations. With that being said, y'all know what to do. As always, keep pounding. Peace.